What's up, guys? So in this video I'm not going to be showing my face. Yeah, I just barely put a shirt on. I haven't brushed my hair. I've had my slippers on for like 35 seconds. It's Sunday, it's lazy Sunday. But I'm talking to my good friend DJ Mayo, and he's asking me what it takes to bring his keg to 130 psi to 150 psi. What's involved, if it's worth it, etc. So, in this video, I'm going to be filling this keg to the 60-40 ratio, 60% liquid, 40% air, to 130 psi and to 150 psi, and then I'm going to monitor the pressure drop. Oops, sorry. Dropping parts and pieces back here. I'm going to monitor the pressure drop and see what it is throughout both sides. It's something I've never done before. I'm kind of excited about it. But before we get to that, yeah, I got to talk about Detail Keg just a little bit. I hate to bore everybody, but I do. Because DJ Mayo has what I would consider a second generation Detail Keg. So, the Detail Kegs we're selling today, and we've been selling through all of 2020, are fourth generation Detail Kegs, which brought in the 150 psi. So, the best way I can explain this, right, is you build a car, okay? Doesn't matter what kind of car this is, but you build a car. But you build the car, right? You put some stuff in it, you go out, you take it out to the salt flats, and if you don't know what the salt flats are, Google it, okay? But you take this car out that you've built out to the salt flats, and you're doing 200 miles an hour, okay? Like that's as fast as it goes, is that 200 miles an hour, okay? Well now you want to go 220. I mean, it's 10% more, right? But it's 10% more on the top end of things. So to go from that 200 miles an hour to now 220 takes so many things, right? So many different parts, etc. So cool. You got to the salt flats, and this one car you built, and now you're doing 220, rocking. I mean, it's cool, dog, right? Like, that's great. So you want to duplicate this one car. Yeah, you can do that, right? You can take that one car, you can make a handful, you make a dozen, and they all do the same thing. I'll do 220 miles an hour. Sorry for all the hesitation and everything. I'm trying to put all these in my hand. You'll see in a second. So now you're going to take that car and you're going to sell it, right? Well, to reliably withstand 220 miles an hour, you now have to change all sorts of things, right? You're not going to be able to use the same resources, suppliers. Like when you start getting in the hundreds, thousands, it all starts changing, right? What I'm getting to, reliability is everything to us, right? To Detail Kegs. If it's not going to be reliable, we're not going to put our name on it. It's been a struggle. It's been a grind to get to 150 psi. In fact, ask Brett Berry with Shiny Jets. One afternoon, he sent me. In fact, I'm going to see if he still has it. I'm going to send him a text. One afternoon, he sent me a video asking if his Detail Keg is supposed to be doing this, and it's just shooting a fountain straight up in the air. "20 feet in the air." It's pretty funny. Same thing with Danny. I hope hope I don't butcher your last name too bad, but Danny Ramirez. Same thing with him. Sent me a video one afternoon, and I mean, I hate to laugh, sorry man, but I mean, looking back at it, it's funny, right? But at the same time, like you can't take those and just look at them and turn the cheek and run away. It's just not going to work. So we took those, we evolved, we've adapted, and here we are today. A lot of guys don't believe that we have parts made specifically for us. We don't overhaul the kegs, whatever. I mean, here's just what I've got laying around, right? I mean, it's a pretty good handful of of just stuff, right? Like, so that's the difference. It depends on when the keg was specifically made, first of all, because of parts and the pieces that it's taken to get to what detail kegs are today. Is it worth it? I don't know. Let's find out. So to be able to keep track, I'm actually going to put that right there. I'll actually write down the numbers. So this keg, it's empty. There's nothing in it. I mean, there might be a touch of residual. That's it, right? So, this is a 3-gallon detail keg. We're going to take and dump 2 gallons in, which puts us, a little bit, which puts us at the 60-40% mark, right, exactly. We also have the famous bottle from the motion picture. Going to do 150 psi first because my compressor's pumped up, and we should be able to get 150. It's a pretty good size compressor. So what I'm going to do, just so we can monitor the pressure drop, is I'm going to hook it up, make sure it's empty. I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to hook this hose up. This hose is empty. I did empty it, but at the same time, for this, I don't think it's really going to matter. I really don't. So I have a ball valve on my hose. I am going to pressure it up to 150, close that ball valve. We can monitor it. Then I'm going to fill each of these jugs. When the first one's full, when it's half gone, we'll write the number down. When it's all the way gone, we'll write the number down. Yeah, this hose isn't all that long. It should be all right. My fitting shouldn't leak. Let's see what it does. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, down. So it's 150, right? Okay. Over here, shut the ball valve. Whatever. I'll show it to you when we get there. So we will now fill the first gallon. That's pretty full. And our pressure is about 90 psi. Yeah, 90 psi. Oops. So we'll bump that over a little bit. Okay, let's do the second. Okay, so it's spitting air now. 60 psi. The very, very end when it's all the way empty. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it again at 130. For the same thing, I'm just going to go ahead and purge all the as you can notice too, like, I mean, I don't know exactly where they were before, but there's very, very little liquid lost in operation, which is kind of cool. Another thing too, there's two ways to relieve the pressure in these lids. Either pull it up and turn it. If you have a first generation keg, I would just turn it and crack it. Turn it counterclockwise, crack it, and just let it hiss. And there's no pressure anywhere. Pop it open. Okay, and we'll do it again, right? First gallon. Oh, geez. All right. It'll just help out the 130 psi side. Because in theory here, right? I mean, I guess in non-theory, it's actual science, but there's actual facts. The more space you give your liquid, the less pressure drop you're gonna have, right? Gotta stick around my hand somehow. So what I mean is, if you're putting these 2 gallons in a 5-gallon keg, these numbers would be way, way different. It would be much, much, much less. So this is just operations, so you don't have to recharge, right? Anyways, quit blabbing. Go back up. Hook it up. Okay, hang on. Let me purge all this very quick. Well, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Because you gotta fill it up anyways. Make sure that's tight. Open my ball valve. But we only want to go to 130. So whoa, 10, 20, 30. Go a hair more. So that's 130, right? You can see that. Cool. I'm gonna close my ball valve. And yeah, fill up the first gallon. So, like 77. See that? We'll just say 80. We'll round up. We'll be nice. Okay. So 130. Right? Yeah. We'll do this too. Round it up just a touch. Now we will do second gallon. See what we're at. My jug folded in on itself, sorry. So, that's it. See what we're at. Yeah, like 53. You can see that. Right, just 54, right under 55. We'll do 55 just for fun. So that's the difference, right? At 150 psi, 1 gallon, we're at 90 psi. 150 at 2, we're at 60. 130 at 1, we're at 80. Like 77, rounded up. 130 at 2, 53, 54, rounded up to 55. Yeah, I hope that answers that question for some guys. Yeah, have a great day.